This morning, an Army vet in custody, accused of plotting a mass casualty attack in California, targeting the popular Santa Monica Pier, police officers, and Jewish people. Now what the suspect's brother is revealing, and how the FBI stopped him just in time.
This as new video emerges of ISIS leader al-Baghdadi alive after rumors of his death for the last 5 years. He now promises the terror group will keep fighting.
Also this morning, the severe storm threat right now. Texas to Illinois bracing for flooding, tornadoes, even possible snow. Ginger here tracking the latest.
As former Vice President Joe Biden kicks off his presidential campaign, the first interview with the candidate and his wife Jill, and what he's now saying about Anita Hill, and those accusations from women about unwanted touching.
And some people were wondering, do you really get it?
And why he thinks he can beat President Trump. The interview only on GMA this morning.
Measles emergency. New numbers just out. The outbreak now the worst in 25 years. Hundreds of people quarantined. Our exclusive with the director of the CDC.
Celebrating a Hollywood legend. Groundbreaking director John Singleton dying days after a stroke at just 51 years old. The warning signs and the tributes now pouring in.
And whale of a mystery, the surprising sight in the sea. Was this beluga whale being used for Russian spy games?
Live in Times Square, this is Good Morning America.
Good morning, America. The question of the morning, is that beluga whale a Russian spy?
Shall we watch again? Take a look. There's the whale. So it had a harness, it had a mount for a camera, and of course that is leading to this big mystery this morning. Could it be used for spying?
We'll discuss that coming up. We're going to begin, though, with those disturbing new details about that alleged terror plot prevented in Southern California. The second plot in the state in just days. Authorities arresting an Army veteran who they say was planning a major attack on places like Santa Monica's Pier and in Long Beach, where our chief national correspondent Matt Gutman is with the latest. Good morning, Matt.
Hey, good morning, Robin. As you mentioned, that alleged plot coming just days after that synagogue attack, yet another lone wolf attacker allegedly planning an attack in this park against a white nationalist rally. And authorities say if people didn't turn up here, he would have targeted the Santa Monica Pier or houses of worship.
This Army vet who fought against terrorism in Afghanistan is being accused of planning multiple mass casualty attacks in California.
The terror plot culminated with plans to bomb innocent people, causing dozens of deaths and serious injuries.
According to the affidavit, Mark Stephen Domingo allegedly expressed support for violent jihad, searching for pressure cooker bombs to use at a white nationalist rally in Long Beach, California this past weekend. Officials say his planning only started last month online. He allegedly wrote, "There must be retribution for the massacre of worshippers at a New Zealand mosque," allegedly writing, "America needs another Vegas event to give the country a taste of the terror they gladly spread all over the world." The Department of Justice alleging that Domingo would swear allegiance to ISIS if it came to the U.S.
Our biggest fear is this was a rapid, what we call radicalization to mobilization to violence.
The affidavit says the 26-year-old also told an informant he wanted to target police officers, a military facility, and the Santa Monica Pier. He talked of a drive-by shooting with an AK-47 style rifle. The suspect's brother hinting Domingo had been troubled and became hopeful when he had recently converted to Islam.
I don't want to assume a thing when someone joins a new religion. If anything, I thought it was a good thing. I thought maybe my brother finally found some sort of guidance in this world.
Domingo was also looking into targeting Jews. That alleged plot coming to light just days after an attack left 1 dead and 3 wounded in a San Diego synagogue. At an emotional funeral service Monday, family members honored 60-year-old Lori Kay, her daughter just feet away when her mother was shot.
There were many forms of hatred that brought this man to do what he did. But his hatred does not shadow the love of my mother and the love of the community she was a part of.
Now, the suspect in that attack, a 19-year-old nursing student, will be arraigned this morning. He faces charges of murder, attempted murder, and arson, and if convicted, could spend the rest of his life behind bars. Cecilia.
Leaving a community there reeling. Okay, Matt, thank you. We are now going to turn to that severe weather threat. 20 million Americans in the storm zone this morning from Texas to Illinois on alert for flooding, possible tornadoes, and Even snow. Ginger tracking it all. Good morning, Ginger.
Hey, good morning to you, Celia, and good morning, everybody else. You know, check this out. Eureka, Kansas. These pictures always are a precursor to tell you what is to come. Nearly 70-mile-per-hour winds with that. And the hail, look at it, covering the roads in Wink, Texas. The hail was actually as large as an egg. So egg size or larger possible today in this region. We start with the flood alerts from, say, Iowa City down through St. Louis and Kansas City. A quick look into Oklahoma City and all the flood alerts for up to 5 inches of rain. But real quick, if Max could just hit this, I need to share you this enhanced risk area with you. Oklahoma City, Norman, we've got enough of a low-level jet, and what that means to you is we could see some twist in the atmosphere, wind shear, which would make tornadoes. George.
You'll keep an eye on it all day. Okay, Ginger, thanks very much. The race for the White House now, and Joe Biden's campaign kickoff in the key state of Pennsylvania. In his first rally, he went straight at President Trump.
Donald Trump is the only president who's decided not to represent the whole country. The president has his base. We need a president who works for all Americans. And we can afford this. We can do this.
That was in Pittsburgh. And Robin, right before the speech, you had the chance to sit down with the vice president and his wife, Joe, for their first interview.
And as we all know, Biden is facing so much as a front runner for the Democratic presidential nomination. He is facing tough questions about his nearly half-century in public life. I began by asking him about Anita Hill, who accused Clarence Thomas of sexual harassment when he was nominated for the Supreme Court in 1991. Biden presided over the confirmation hearing and has been criticized for how Anita Hill was treated.
In moving forward and deciding to run, you reached out to Anita Hill. She has recently said, when asked if she felt it was an apology that you had extended, she said no, she said, I cannot be satisfied by simply saying I'm sorry for what happened to you. I will be satisfied when I know there is real change and real accountability and real purpose.
I was grateful she took the call. I don't want to get in our private conversation, but the point is that, look, I was chairman of the committee.
Professor, do you swear to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
I believed her from the very beginning, but I was chairman. She did not get a fair hearing. She did not get treated well. That's my responsibility. And I committed that I am determined to continue the fight to see to it that we basically change the culture in this country where a woman is put in a position where she is disbelieved. As the committee chairman, I take responsibility that she did not get treated well. I take responsibility for that. I hear what they're saying. I understand it. And I'll be much more mindful. That's my responsibility, and I'll meet it.
You put out the video, and it was a very powerful video right after these accusations from women who said that you made them feel uncomfortable.
And I get it. I get it.
But then shortly thereafter, you're addressing a group, mainly men, and you make light of it.
I just want you to know I had permission to hug Lonnie.
And some people were wondering, do you really get it?
Well, I really do. I've learned, here's the deal. I've always thought that part of leadership, part of politics was listening to people, hearing them, making them feel comfortable, getting them, letting them know I hear them, and I empathize with them if they have a problem. It's my responsibility to be more sensitive to whether or not someone wants me to reassure them, or wants to say hello, or wants to show affection and support, and that's my responsibility.
But Robin, I think what you don't realize is how many people approach Joe, men and women, looking for comfort. But going forward, I think he's going to have to be a better judge of when people approach him, how he's going to react, that he maybe shouldn't approach them.
And how did you react when those first accusations were made?
I've known Joe for 44 years, and one of the things I've always admired about him is the way he does connect with people. And in 44 years, I hadn't heard negative comments, but now's a different time. Women, men are in a different place now. And so we have to honor that.
Have you ever experienced a similar situation when a man made you feel uncomfortable by their actions or inappropriate language of any sort? Has that ever happened to you?
Yes, it's happened to me. And I've come home and I've told Joe about it.
She never tell me the names, though.
But yes, I've felt that, you know, men were in my space.
And how did you handle it?
You know, it was, I just sort of stepped aside. I didn't address it. Like you said, I mean, things have changed. There was a time when women were afraid to speak out, and I can remember it specifically. It was in a job interview. And you know, and so that's where we've moved from. That now, if that same thing happened today, I'd turn around and say, what do you think you're doing? So I think it's totally different.
The president has a motto, make America great again. Do you have one?
Make America moral again. Make America return to the essence of who we are, the dignity of the country, the dignity of people, treating our people with dignity. End this god-awful deliberate division that's being taken in order to separating people to aggrandize his own power.
He's making the differences between the two. You know, Pennsylvania yesterday, Iowa today, hitting all the swing states.
Trump looks like they're going at this as a team.
Yes, very much so. In fact, Dr. Biden is going to be here next week. She's written a book, but yes, very much by his side. And the entire family, they said he got together with the grandkids, everyone, they're fully behind him, running for a third time. And we're going to talk to him about that. We'll have more of the interview in our next half hour.
Okay, we're going to go to the White House now, where President Trump, his family, and the Trump Organization is suing two of his longtime banks to prevent them from complying with demands from Congress for Trump records. It's a dramatic escalation in the showdown between Trump and Democrats in Congress. So let's bring in our chief White House correspondent, John Karl. And John, this lawsuit is a long shot for the president.
Well, it's certainly unusual, George, and Democrats say the Trump lawyers know full well that even if this lawsuit loses, it could succeed in delaying their investigation. So we have a joint statement from the chairs of the Financial Services and Intelligence Committee calling this a meritless lawsuit, another demonstration of the depths to which President Trump will go to obstruct Congress's constitutional investigative authority. George, these committees subpoenaed Deutsche Bank and Capital One for a long list of records related to their business with the Trump Organization as part of an investigation into foreign influence in the Trump Organization. The Trump legal team says that the subpoenas are, quote, unlawful and illegitimate. Every citizen should be concerned about the sweeping, lawless invasion of privacy. And George, the timing here is quite interesting. Today, as news of this lawsuit breaks, the president will be meeting with congressional leaders on a possible infrastructure deal here at the White House.
We'll see how that one goes. Okay, John, thanks very much. Cecilia.
Okay, George, this morning, one of the most wanted men in the world has resurfaced in a new video message. It's the first in 5 years for ISIS leader Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi. He was vowing to the terror group will keep fighting. This is despite being pronounced defeated by President Trump. Our chief global affairs correspondent, Martha Radis, is tracking this all from Washington. Good morning, Martha.
Good morning, Cecilia. There is a $25 million price tag on al-Baghdadi's head. He is the #1 ISIS target in the world. But this morning, it appears he is alive, even after the relentless pounding the U.S. and others have conducted against ISIS. In the 18-minute video from which these images are taken, the man identified as Baghdadi acknowledges the loss of territory in Iraq and Syria, but says the fight against the West will go on, praising the Sri Lanka attackers who left more than 250 dead on Easter Sunday. The last time Baghdadi was seen in public was 5 years ago in a Mosul mosque. This new tape, clearly an effort to say that ISIS can still pose a serious threat anywhere in the world. Robin, and they certainly can.
Yes, all right, Martha, thank you. Now to that frightening measles outbreak growing nationwide. The CDC just released new numbers. There are now a record 704 cases across 22 states, the most in 25 years. Hundreds are quarantined at 2 universities in California. And this morning, Adrian Bankert has the latest.
This morning, the measles outbreak in the U.S. is at a 25-year high. The CDC announcing it has identified more than 700 cases in 22 states since the beginning of this year, an increase of 78 cases in the last week alone. The CDC says 89% of those cases have been found in people who are not vaccinated. The CDC's director exclusively tells ABC's Dr. Jen Ashton he fears for the worst.
You can anticipate that it won't be surprising if, unfortunately, we do see a death.
Last week in LA, UCLA and Cal State Los Angeles put more than 1,000 students and staff members in quarantine last week after possibly being exposed on campus. This morning, more than 200 remain quarantined, meaning that the university's barred students and staff until the health department verifies they are vaccinated and virus-free.
There are a few of my colleagues who are still under quarantine. I would imagine that they are scared as well because an outbreak like this, it's easy to be worried over.
And again, there are parental concerns. We've been talking about that, about the safety of these vaccines. The CDC reports that a third of these new measles cases are in children under the age of 5 years old. The CDC is also saying the vaccine is safe. Measles is the real danger and urging everyone to come in and get vaccinated with their doctor. George?
How many times can you say you got to get the vaccine? Okay, Adrian, thanks very much. There are new developments in the case of the Dallas police officer who shot and killed a man in his own apartment. The officer said she mistakenly thought it was her apartment. And our Dallas affiliate WFAA has now obtained exclusive 911 recordings from that night. Marcus Moore has the story.
Hi, this is off-duty officer. I need EMS. I'm in number. You saw someone? Yes, I thought it was my apartment.
That shaky voice is former police officer Amber Geiger calling 911 after shooting 26-year-old Botham John inside his own home.
Okay, we have help on the way. I know, but I'm going to lose my job. I thought it was my apartment.
Obtained by Dallas station WFAA is 5 minutes long, and this morning it may provide the most vivid account yet of the chaos and confusion inside this apartment the night of September 6th. You can hear a desperate Geiger appearing to try to comfort John as he lay badly wounded.
Hey, bud. Hey, bud. Hey, bud. I thought it was my apartment.
19 times she tells the dispatcher she thought John was in her apartment, and at one point saying she was tired. I sat down with Daryl Washington, the attorney representing John's family in the separate civil trial. He is hearing the tape for the first time.
When I listened to that call, not one time did I hear Amber Geiger say that she was in fear of her life.
After days of protests, authorities charged Geiger with murder in John's death. An arrest affidavit says John disobeyed Geiger's commands, and she opened fire.
I thought they were in my apartment. I thought this was my floor.
We reached out to Geiger's attorneys for their reaction to this recording, and they couldn't comment because there is a gag order in this case. But before that order was put into place, they did say, quote, when we get to a fair forum in front of 12 dispassionate citizens, they believe that the law and evidence will show Amber Geiger is innocent. That former police officer this morning is out on bond and is set to stand trial in September for John's murder. Guys.
Okay, thanks, Marcus. Boy, it's hard to hear those tapes.
It really is.
We are following a lot of other stories this morning, including the passing of John Singleton. Youngest person ever nominated for an Oscar as director for Boys in the Hood passed at just 51 years old from a stroke. We're going to talk about his life, his career, and the risk factors for a stroke when we come back. But first, let's go to Ginger.
And I've got to show you these pictures of snow because, yes, we are in April, nearly May, but Fort Collins, Colorado is where we begin. They had, average is at more than a half foot for the month, but they had a couple of fresh inches. And look at the heavy rain coming in. It is going to be May. Lance Bass is going to be here. We're going to be talking about rain for a while. Your local weather, and it's going to be May. Local forecast in just a bit, but first, Tuesday Trivia is sponsored by Samsung Galaxy Phone.
Meteorologist Veronica Johnson here. Have this small umbrella ready to go for today. This afternoon, we could have an isolated shower or thunderstorm coming our way after 2-3 o'clock. 77 to 85 as we wrap up this warm month of April. Temperatures will top out much above average. We're back to seasonal conditions tomorrow. Maybe a shower or thunder shower late in the day, and then higher humidity, higher heat coming your way for Thursday and even Friday. 84 to 87 degrees. Even this weekend, we're back to the 70s with a chance of a shower.
I know what it's like to be in a financially struggling family. We had a lot of leftovers. I couldn't have asked for better parents, but like most people, they didn't have anyone to teach them the best financial habits, so we changed that. As a financial health coach, I help people